We ventured out on this episode with a group of family and friends. The boats range from 14 feet to 30 feet, creating a fun dynamic to the trip and the challenges it brought. Today we highlighted a trip great for the novice boater looking to wet their feet for a longer run trip, staying overnight with the boat and a slip. Traveling from Palm Coast up the Matanzas River on the ICW to the iconic historical one and only St. Augustine.
So this one's special because we got to celebrate our friend Ryan's birthday, and this is a trip that can be totally done by car, but what fun is that? And we feel like making memories on the water with our friends and family is just so priceless to do it by boat. If you're new here, we're Tidal Escapes. I'm Sierra and this is my husband Cole, and we travel by boat finding you all the best vacation destinations on the water. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video.
So the spot that we all met up at and ended up launching at was Herschel's Park, which is in Palm Coast, Florida. It's a county public ramp, and from there, obviously, it's one that's close to home for us that we use a good bit. We could have made the trip a little bit more lengthy from launching maybe somewhere in Daytona, and by any means, if you're down that area, totally still feasible to do. But you know, we had, like I said, some of the dynamic of the smallest boat being 14 foot, which was my nephew Carson's, all the way up to the 30-foot boat, which is our friend Pete and Damaris. So that being said, you know, that dynamic of the differences of the boat, we wanted to kind of keep it short for Carson's smaller boat, but then as well have the accommodations for obviously a place that we can leave a larger trailer for the 30-foot boat. That was obviously a really big key portion of things. That I actually kind of went out, kind of scouted that out beforehand to make sure that there was enough room for a 30-foot boat trailer. So, and while on that topic, when I went to Herschel's to kind of scout it out, one of the things that I also looked for was, is it okay to leave your truck and trailer overnight? Nowhere did I see any signage that said anything different. So I ended up popping up online and asked some questions online with the Facebook groups in the local areas. Luckily, there were some people that chimed in, kind of said that they did it, didn't really have any issues doing it. So that being said, that's what we did. We had no issues with it. Luckily, at the end of the trip, all of our stuff was still there. It wasn't tampered with. You know, so for what it's worth, that was the solution that we used for a spot to launch at. And we think that it was a great spot to obviously kind of duplicate if you were to do the same trip. So Herschel's is set up pretty nice. There's obviously 2 different lanes. There's a lot of floating docks off to the side, which makes this one of our favorite spots to launch at. I mean, a lot of boat ramps need to obviously kind of copy this. To overflow outside parking areas are awesome. Just allows for people to launch and get their stuff out of the way of the lanes, which kind of brings us to what we experienced when it came time to launch in my boat. We had somebody that was taking a really long time in front of us, and by the time that I was in the lane to launch, that person that was taking a long time ended up putting their boat right in the lane. So just note to self, if you're somebody that's a little bit newer, this may be the obvious for people that have more time on the water, but if you're new and you're using the boat ramp, especially in those areas where they've provided you parking outside of the ramp, please use that. Please get your boat out of the boat lanes. You know, just looking out for you. If you want a smooth process where people obviously aren't bothered, that's extremely crucial. And yeah, so like the ramp was pretty busy, but overall went by pretty smooth because everybody kind of helped each other out in the group. The largest boat, the 30-foot Regal, obviously was a little bit more to hassle with and to launch, but you know, with all of us around, we obviously were able to help.
I feel like being with all our friends at the boat ramp, the morale was really high and everybody was just super excited, especially those of our friends that never made the trip before. So just fun to see everybody excited for the trip to come. Going up towards Matanzas and St. Augustine area has to be one of our favorite trips ever, because as soon as you pull out of Herschel's Park, the run zone starts automatically, and there might be a few places where you have to slow down and have minimal wake zones, but other than that, you're pretty much cruising the whole way, which we enjoy. It makes it a fun trip. And due to the different style of boats we were with, obviously it ranging from 14 to 30 feet, we had to plan meetup spots because obviously we're all going at different speeds. So that was just a key factor in the trip. We couldn't all just say, okay, see you there. We'd have to stop and pause and let everybody catch up for those that couldn't go as quick.
Yeah, and we stayed together for the most part, but there was definitely some times when we broke apart. But granted, we kind of put that plan in place and everybody kind of knew what the game plan was. That was it was a crucial aspect. So the run up to St. Augustine is about 29 miles in total, which isn't super crazy for most people. I know a lot of people with probably more boating experience, they've pretty much done that with their eyes closed. But like I said, this is a trip that really caters to potentially somebody that's never done a longer run before. And like I said, want to get their feet wet at it. Could you do it out in the ocean? Yeah, 100%. This weekend, even for the larger boat, really not doable. We had pretty good wind, and overall, like, the thunderstorms were not really present, but by any means not the day to run out in the ocean, which you could do it from out of Ponce Inlet and then come back into like St. Augustine Inlet by Villano. And that'd be a super fun trip, and I think that's definitely one way that we would want to do it at some point in time, especially for us in a smaller boat, right? Being able to venture out in the ocean like that for like a longer run. It's exciting, and like some of these key details of putting together some of this stuff and the logistics of it, making sure you have enough gas, making sure you have your tools, certain backups on stuff like that kind of gets you prepared for potentially a bigger trip. This obviously is kind of same dynamic, but on a way smaller scale, right? What we think is building the building blocks for, those root concepts, but then using those later on for a bigger trip, once you move to that point versus, a lot of people that will like literally just jump right into it and they'll go, yep, we're doing a Bahamas crossing, trip.
Bouncing back to it, Cole, is there any areas that viewers at home need to be careful for or watch out for on their trip?
Yeah.
St. Augustine?
Yeah, for sure. As we mentioned, it's one of our favorite trips because most of it's a run zone, but the areas to look for, I would generalize it as almost under every single bridge on the way there is going to be a minimum no wake zone or at least an idle zone. So look out for those. The only other one or zone that's outside of that is up in the Devil's Elbow area. This is just north of Matanzas Inlet. And from there, those are just the areas to kind of look for. So with the vast array of boats that we had on the trip, to start off, obviously we have our 1910 Tidewater Bay boat, which you've seen in most videos. Joining us was my brother and his Bayliner Element. We also have his son, which is my nephew, Carson, and he was in his Stump Knocker 14-foot boat.
So cool. Our nephew's 14 and he's got his own boat. I love it.
Yeah. And that's just super cool too. Obviously, he's learning a lot of this, and this was his first, biggest, longest trip that he's ever done on his boat, and it was quite a haul for that small a boat for sure. Mm-hmm. So, but a lot of stuff to learn on the way, and that's what builds a whole lot of confidence and experiences. These longer runs and really running your boat and learning. Also, as well, Ryan, who it was his birthday, he was in his Key West Bay Reef boat, and me and him, I would say, we're pretty much running this together for the most part. Our boat and his boat are both very similar in terms of cruise speeds, top end, so forth. And lastly, our friend Pete joined us too as well with his Regal LX9, which has twin 250 Yamahas on it. Beautiful boat that's obviously made to do these longer cruises like this with comfort. So definitely cool to see that in the group of the mix and doing this trip. And this is his first time as well going up to this area. Matanzas Inlet is about roughly 30 minutes from Herschel's, so that's, I would call it probably that midway point. Great spot to hang out at. We'll do some more in-depth videos on the sandbar there, but just obviously having a good time, enjoyed ourselves. So I was able to cook kind of lunch for everybody.
Oh yeah, we had some chicken skewers and pineapple and some hot dogs.
Yeah,
Great. Something new.
But it mentioned, there's some valuable talking points on Matanzas Inlet, and the current there, the tides, they definitely have a bigger tide fluctuation than, let's say, farther down south. So the currents are really, really strong there. So just kind of look out for that, and make sure that you give yourself plenty of room away from other people when anchoring up, especially if it's your first time going to this area. And something else valuable to mention as well is where we anchored at. When me and Sierra started boating a few years back, that sand did not exist there. Matanzas is a very raw, kind of untouched inlet to where they don't dredge it. It's got natural sandbars all over the place. It's kind of been let go. Really only the locals will navigate through it. So I wouldn't suggest running either out or in from there to get to this spot. Definitely, if you're unfamiliar with the area, definitely use the ICW. But just goes to show, like, obviously just in our short time of being in, the boating world, this area's changed every time that we're there. So where we were anchored up, hanging out, this day may not be that way down the road.
It took some time to bounce around sandbars because we obviously got out there in the middle of the day and just trying to find a place to accommodate everybody and keep them together. So we had to move around quite a bit before we found a place to hang out.
Patience definitely was key, right?
Oh yeah. Just don't panic. Take your time.
We had our fun on the sandbar and just hopped back in the boat and headed back up to St. Augustine and just continued our run up that way. We had some dinner plans and we kind of wanted to get sorted and be able to check out the hotel as well with the, with the lights still up, and, definitely get there before the sun was down, because that was a key important thing, as, that was a new run for us.
Yeah, and it's difficult to do things in the dark, especially when something's new. And I know this from past experience.
So again, to mention, once you're running out of Matanzas Inlet, headed north, the first spot to look for a no wake zone is going to be by the Devil's Elbow Resort and Devil's Elbow area. That's a little short bit that runs right in front of the resort there. It's back up to speed, and from there the next no wake zone is going to be underneath the Crescent City Bridge. After that opens up into like a really big marsh area, which this, for us in this trip, was actually kind of our first time coming up to this area. Super enjoyable. I thought it was really cool to see some new scenery that's definitely a little bit different from the Daytona Beach area.
Made for some cool shots too.
Yeah.
With the drone.
Just wide open. So, the channel definitely snakes through there, so pay attention to the channel markers. And from there, you're up on plane all the way till you hit the Micklow O'Connor Bridge. This is the first bridge that you hit, which is on like the south end of St. Augustine. That's a short minimum awake zone. From there, you're back up and going, and from there, it's gonna be a run zone all the way until you pretty much come up to Lions Bridge in St. Augustine, which is right where we were staying.
After a long and exciting journey, we finally pulled into our destination, which was Marker 8.
So all of our reservations were done beforehand, obviously. Their docks and the way that the slips are set up is through Docwa, and if you're not familiar with that, it's kind of like a nationwide app that you can hop on. A lot of these resorts and marinas run their slips through that. It's all like an online booking agency stuff, so a little bit separate from the hotel, but obviously you sign up, you put in your information about your boat specs, your draft and the whole 9 yards there. But they'll sign all the slips. So for all of us, we all kind of knew what our slips were before we showed up. Pulled in there. Something to mention, the current is really, really strong. You're pretty close to the inlet there. So on, the middle of an outgoing and the middle of an incoming tide, obviously those tides are really, really strong, pulling in and out. They actually advise to try to plan getting there at a slack tide if that's a possibility. So for us, luckily we came in, it was pretty chill, but it definitely had some current going. So, but luckily it's all with, you're going with the current in most aspects of where you're parking at. So, but something to be vigilant on and to mention.
So there's 24 slips available, and it's all floating dock scenarios, and they all offer power and water.
And I think that this is why this makes it a really great spot for a newcomer, because those areas and the locations that you can visit that have those floating docks, it's just way easier of a setup for the newcomers in terms of tying up the boat, not having to worry about the tide swings,
A fixed dock situation.
yeah, it's definitely easier than a fixed dock scenario. So for us, we definitely recommend finding these types of spots if this is something that is completely new to you. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Marker 8 is positioned right there at the base of like the Lions Bridge on the ocean side. It's got a beautiful view of the St. Augustine Marina that's across the way there in downtown historical St. Augustine. Super rad spot, and we got all situated. Everybody got docked up, unpacking our luggage. But one of the key things to mention that was kind of a dislike for us, and just it's always something on these trips, and it may be super minimal to other people, but for us it just absolutely irks me to not being able to flush my motor after a saltwater run. And I know some people may bash me in the comments and go, well, the next day you're going to run it in salt. What's the difference? I don't know. It's just the ease of mind, and it's such a simplicity thing. And if they have the utilities on the dock, you would think logically one could obviously use it. But sadly, that was one of the disappointments as we got there, and all their hoses were completely trashed. The hose that was in my slip, somebody slit and cut the end of it that obviously threads on, so you couldn't even use it. I kind of mentioned that to the front office. They said that they would get kind of a solution, never got a solution. So by any means, I don't want to talk bad about anything, but to be honest with you, we have no affiliation with them on this trip, and I just want to share what truthfully we had to experience. And I think as a learning experience, I usually will try to do it, but to just simply bring your own hose.
I was just gonna say that, bring your own.
And I know that sounds silly, but like I said, it just irks me. It's so simple to just plug a hose in, flush the motor, have ease of mind on it, and you're done with it.
Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot of amenities and just details about the hotel itself that are worth mentioning that were pretty cool. Right when we got there, we were told that they had like a cute little happy hour that offered food and drinks, just little appetizers and drinks that were offered. But it was just cool. You don't see that often in many places that we stay. And the rooms were super clean. I loved the decor. Everything was nice and neat, beach themed. Very nautical, which was nice. They do have a pool area where you can, so here's like the little area where you can get your appetizers, happy hour, and then you can come right on the patio to sit by the pool if you want. There's chairs inside if you want to stay inside. But the pool area was nice. The pool was a little small, but I guess for being such a compact area right by the bridge, you can't have anything too crazy. But it worked. It was cute.
And on the topic of being kind of compressed area and kind of smaller, is their parking in front of the hotel is really, really minimal. So note, if you're somebody watching this and you're thinking, oh, I could just come and visit with my boat, and that's the starting point versus what we did where we boated up to it, there's really no trailer parking. I did see on their website they do say that if you brought a trailer, there's some parallel parking on the side of the road in front of it. So it'd all have to be like public parking out in front of the road. So just note to that. I definitely think this is a good spot to boat to, not necessarily
bring your truck and trailer.
Yeah, like bring your truck and trailer to. It's just really limited on space.
Another thing to note is once you get in the room itself, very cute setup. You have your room, and then it's 2 stories as well. So each room has its own patio where you can just go sit out and enjoy the view of the water, which again, like Cole was saying, was beautiful. You have the Lions Bridge right there and then overlooking downtown St. Augustine. So you can't beat that view.
Yeah.
I think there was some wildlife too that all the staff ran out and saw. It was a manatee. but just a lot of sights and sound that are just beautiful.
I love those ground level entry stuff. I know we talked about it in other videos, but for us and the gear that we take, it's just so nice to be able to like walk in and out without having to use the elevator or the stairs. It's a pretty big major part. And also too, as well, for the newer boaters, if you're kind of wigged out with leaving your boat tied up and kind of worried about it, at least where we were in that room spot, you were able to obviously look out and kind of check out on your stuff without having to walk all the way down to the dock.
Yeah. The slips are right there in front of your room, yeah. So once we all got settled in, everybody enjoyed some happy hour stuff by the pool, and then we all got dressed up to celebrate Ryan's birthday. And we checked out a place. We actually were able to get there by foot, so we walked across the Lions Bridge because, again, it's right next to Marker 8. And we went to a place called Casa Reina, right in downtown St. Augustine, which was a very good Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, and there's definitely some options to hit on the boat, on the water, but we don't want to give out all of everything. You know, luckily St. Augustine is a place that's kind of close to us that we can do more videos on. So if you're looking at seeing that, definitely subscribe to the channel, stay along with what we do, because we'll definitely have more stuff on that. We just don't want to give all of our eggs out.
No, we can't give all our secrets yet.
So and anyways, this is, you know, like, this was Ryan's birthday. So we just wanted to do something, obviously, that he wanted to do for this, and we just so happened to be kind of filming the trip. So.
Yeah, and I recommend that place, Casa Reina. It was delicious. The food, the drinks. It was kind of like a smoky Mexican cuisine, which was different than what we're used to. So I don't know, we really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
And like Sierra said, it's so convenient and kind of cool that you can literally just come right out of Marker 8. You're right practically on the Lions Bridge. You walk right across it. You don't need an Uber. You don't need anything. You literally just walk right to it.
You just need your two feet.
And again, like, we need to show some more of it, but like, it's downtown St. Augustine, if you've never been, obviously has tons of shopping, historical value to it, stories. You got bars, restaurants, just
tours, ghost tours, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so cool spot. Definitely one of our favorite areas to check out, and yeah,
it's a good spot. This is something that always excites me, is when I hear that there's breakfast involved. And there's at Marker 8, there's a place upstairs called the Captain's Table, and you get free breakfast included with your stay. And the breakfast was pretty good. It wasn't just basic boring things. I mean, it was pretty like pretty fancy for what we got.
And the view from up there was pretty killer. We enjoyed that. Like, you get to see across at the marina there at Marker 8, the bridge. I mean, it's beautiful in the morning time.
Yeah, that is a place for all the beautiful views of St. Augustine, I will say that.
We got going in the morning kind of slow. Everybody kind of ended up doing their own thing and eventually got going. But, you know, we kept it simple for this trip. There could have been easily some other restaurants we could have hit, maybe some of the sandbars. But really the main thing was a lot of people wanted to make the cruise up. So that being said, we all kind of got settled. We hopped back in the boats, headed south, and one of the areas that we ended up hitting was a different sandbar that's right there kind of by the Marineland area, the bridge that goes over on A1A. There's another sandbar there. We don't really know what it's called, but we ended up kind of pit stopping there, and we also too as well had on our agenda to stop at Captain's Barbecue. That's right there at Bing's Landing, which is, I would say, probably 75% of your way back to Palm Coast if you're not familiar with it. Awesome spot, great barbecue, pretty simplistic parking with all floating docks and the little marina that's there. There's also a boat ramp there too as well. We'll show a little bit more of that place too as well in the future, because again, that's another place that's a little bit close to home for us. So definitely a spot that we want to show some more on. But yeah, just enjoyed it all. Everybody got parking. You know, it's just a great time to kind of finish off an awesome weekend. And
The icing on the cake.
it's just all what it's about, you know. It's like making those memories on the boat, checking out
Just
new
being able
water.
to catch up with everybody too, because you know we try to see our friends often, but I mean sometimes there'll be stretches of time that go by, so it's just really nice to catch up with everybody and have good conversations.
So it's all in the details. Hope you learned something. Hopefully you want to duplicate this trip. Definitely recommend it. You know, learn a lot of stuff along the way. Get to see a lot of cool new area if it's new to you. But yeah, overall, hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, definitely support us by liking the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Reach out down below in the comments. Ask us anything that you want, or even provide us with, have you done this before, or do you plan on doing it? You got any questions about the trip? Definitely would love to hear from you.
Yeah, and tell us where else we need to go that we haven't been already. We're always looking for new suggestions too. But take care, you guys, and thank you guys again so much for all your support throughout this journey. We can't wait for the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
We're
thank you,
Tile
guys.
Escapes, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.